What is good, Cardano fam? ADA gang. We have lots of exciting updates to unpack today, so hit that subscribe, hit that like. Cardano ADA 24-hour trade volume surpasses $1.1 billion according to CoinGecko. MEXC ranks Cardano ADA as the third most traded asset during their zero trading fee campaign. It's great to see Cardano alongside Solana, Sui, and above Chainlink. That's fantastic. CNBC senior technology correspondent interviews Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson at Paris Blockchain Week. So we're going to wait for this interview to release. It's great to get more eyes on Cardano, and there's many more conversations happening this week with not only Charles, but also Cardano Foundation CEO Frederic Regard. So great to see all these come to fruition. Alex Becker, he's Alex, I'm Alex, we're all Alex. Whether you hate him or love him, he has a big audience even before he entered cryptocurrency. It's good to have positive sentiment on ADA. He targets 5x to 10x on top altcoins in the worst case scenario. Now, I'm not ruling out negative price volatility. We've said that many times. I have buy limit orders at even lower levels, like 52 cents, 51 cent ADA. But I do think that we are going to see a lot of upside potential in the medium and long term for altcoins and Bitcoin as well. George CryptosRus says Ripple shared a video with the Cardano ADA logo. We covered that yesterday. On the official Ripple account, they posted a tokenization RWA video, and in the beginning, they showed ADA. Now, maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe it means nothing. But George says some Ripple and Cardano partnerships are brewing. Maybe they're coming in May or this month. What do you guys think? I would love to see RLUSD on Cardano, or at the very least, Midnight Network and XRP Ledger working together. We do know that Charles is confident that Ripple will expand to more networks this year for RLUSD. We do know that they're in talks with each other, ongoing talks between Midnight Network and Ripple, and there's good relations between CEO Brad Garlinghouse, CTO David Schwartz, and Charles Hoskinson. So it's likely. But I would really like to see RLUSD. That would help a lot with the stablecoin situation on Cardano. Charles says that Bitcoin is coming to Cardano in May during the Bitcoin 2025 conference. Well, we will see a demo for Bitcoin DeFi in Las Vegas in May. So that's going to be very exciting. And speaking of, Fairgate Co-Founder Sergio Lerner says the BitVMX 2025 roadmap is full of milestones. SDKs, reduced rounds, new signature schemes, greater efficiency, tutorials, examples of payment channels, automated market makers, and bridges to advance Bitcoin DeFi, connecting BTC to Cardano, of course, leveraging Cardano, smart contracts layer, and more. I'm very excited for Bitcoin DeFi. There's a lot of synergy between the brothers, if you will. But I think ADA and XRP are also brothers. Let me know what you guys think about that. Wanchain, speaking of Bitcoin, integrates Bitcoin's #1 meme coin, DOG, on Cardano, enabling a new cross-chain route to bridge DOG directly between Cardano and Solana. So DOG is a very grassroots, community-driven meme coin on Bitcoin, and they have an official contract address for Solana, so it made this integration seamless. And whatever you think of bridges, at the end of the day, it's going to allow more users, different checkpoints to onboard into the Cardano DeFi ecosystem. But beyond that, it's also going to help to build more relations and friendships with the Bitcoin community through the DOG community. So I think this is brilliant. zkFold announces Smart Wallet, an all-in-one API library for implementing a Cardano wallet. Web2 login is currently in testnet. Users can send and receive ADA by just using Gmail. So you just use a Gmail account and you get a self-custody wallet backed by proof of Google account login instead of a seed phrase. So this is an example of easy, simple UX and an example of technology hidden behind obscurity, abstraction, if you will, and giving people more options. Let the more advanced users use the more complex solution and allow other users to leverage something like this through simplicity. So I think more options is always great. If users need it, it's there. Why not? Nice and easy. Ledger integrates BTC Direct, enabling more fiat off-ramp options for Cardano ADA in the Ledger Live crypto wallet app. So I messaged BTC Direct. I was like, what does this mean? Because Ledger didn't go in full detail explaining exactly. And BTC Direct said that it's more about fiat off-ramp. So more options, why not? I think that's great to have more utility in the Ledger app for ADA holders. Motley Fool, a very popular news platform for investing, highlights Cardano's governance as deliberate, democratic, and built to last. Not too shabby, if you ask me. I like that. Nice post by TapTools. BlackRock says we still believe US stocks will eventually reclaim global leadership. If clarity comes quickly, we will up risk-taking again. They also said in their article that gold right now is an excellent choice for investors who are trying to kind of be careful with the risk, if you will. But they're a little skeptical with the high-risk investments, but I think that this storm too shall pass and BlackRock will shift. So we're going to see. Could be very sudden. Now let's talk about tariffs and stocks and all the nonsense going on. Over $1.5 trillion wiped out from the US stock market today. Now, some people think rates won't get cut. Some people think rates will be cut. We saw yesterday JP Morgan saying that, the Fed has to cut rates. BlackRock, in their article, thinks that rates won't be cut like anytime soon. So no one really knows right now. So let's first start with the negative, then we'll go into positive. White House says additional 104% tariffs on China went into effect today at noon. And European Commission President says the EU stands ready to negotiate a 0-for-0 tariff deal with the United States, but this wasn't sufficient. When a reporter asked the president, he said that they got to go beyond that. So this is kind of like, in the works. But now let's first talk about the positive stuff, right? So there's a lot of negative stuff right now with uncertainty, especially China. But South Korea says it will not fight back against US tariffs and seeks to negotiate a new trade deal. In addition to that, Italian Prime Minister is to travel to the US to negotiate tariffs with the president. And this is a very important one. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says we have one of the Vietnamese officials coming in this week. The Japanese also are very eager to get it over. I think you're going to see a couple of big trading partners do deals very quickly. So I speculate we're going to see a lot of deals come to fruition through the likes of Japan, Taiwan, maybe Vietnam as well. But I think Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, those three, and it could have a big positive effect on the market as well. But again, there's a lot of back and forth, washboard action, a lot of volatility. One day we're 61 cents. The next 6 hours we're 55 cents. So guys, hold on and just do what works best for your risk tolerance. Don't give up. Be very calculated and strategic. Zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. Because I remember when I went down to Miami in September and we were at 33 cents. Now we're at 55 cents. So that's technically higher than we were then. But I'm not ruling out negative price volatility. I do have limit orders like around these ranges if we come down like 52 cents. TradingView shows us at 5.6 and BTCD 63.4%, a whopping, near record levels for Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin at 76.6. I think it's important for us to hold around these ranges where we bounce back off of that 75. But again, I'm very excited to accumulate more Bitcoin at these levels. ADA at these levels I think is fantastic. Also under 60 cents. XRP $1.80. There's really no exception. Everyone's experiencing a very similar, like if you look at these two, they look so similar, ADA and XRP. So I have buy limit orders set for Bitcoin, ADA, XRP, and Litecoin. Of course, ADA is my biggest altcoin holding. And this is why during these times, your thesis and your belief and your strategy really gets tested. So it's important to have strong roots. And I think that ADA still has its time to shine, including many other projects. Bitcoin dominance is still extremely high at nearly 64%. Bitcoin is still in those high ranges in the 60, 76 ranges for price. Bitcoin global search is still very low. Big projects have still not yet deployed their coins, the likes of Base, Monad, Linea, OpenSea, and many more. Abstract. So I think that right now there's short-term pain and massive volatility, washboard, to just rinse out a lot of the weak hands, but it's also a fantastic opportunity for retail to actually get in at good prices. So I try to always look at the upside potential and be objective where I can. And I think that we will see something in terms of a positive announcement for trade deals with big partners. I think the highlight for today, guys, I really hope that something does come to fruition between Ripple and Cardano. And I'm hoping that it is, and I know hope is kind of a cringe word in crypto and whatnot, but I'm hoping that it is RLUSD on Cardano. I think RLUSD would make a lot of sense. RLUSD, USDT, and USD1 would be phenomenal to enter the Cardano ecosystem. But let me know what you guys think. Will that happen? Will we see RLUSD on Cardano? Or is this whole like logo in the video just a basic coincidence? Let me know your thoughts. Are we going to go lower than 50 cents? Or are we more or less, at the bottom? I think that we could see more pain even going into like late April and May. And this could get pushed out even later with maybe not even rate cuts happening until maybe summer and beyond, and really shaking out people and causing a real capitulation to make people think that it's actually over and then we Giga Chad send it. But anyways, that's my thoughts. Stay positive, stay objective, smash that subscribe, smash that like. I'll see you guys in the next Angry Crypto Show.